Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Happy Friday, everybody. It's good to have you with us as we start our First Alert 6 streaming. I'm Erin Hartley, joined by meteorologist Gerald Lansford and the senior chief meteorologist Rusty Lord. A lot to get to as far as the forecast for today and for the weekend. Of course, the big Memorial Park concert happening today, so folks should be prepared. It's going to be a pretty high UV index out there.
You got to watch out for the sunburn. People are already out there setting up their blankets. Some just hang out there all day, maybe go back and forth. So if you're out in the direct sunlight for a long time, there's going to be plenty of that, and it's going to burn you pretty quickly with the UV index expected to be high. There's nothing but just a little bit of valley fog out there as far as clouds go. You look off in the distance, see a little bit of fog in some of the valleys as we look over across into the less hills of Iowa. 64 right now with a dew point of 63, so those numbers very close. We almost saturated the air entirely. The muggy meter is going to stay in the muggy range most of the day, but then uptick towards the end of the day, 7 to 10 o'clock. A jump there, so keep that in mind if you're heading down to that concert. Increasing humidity this evening. Temperatures falling at the same time, so I still think the UV or the heat index value is going to be low to mid 90s. Later on this afternoon into the evening, so that direct sunlight's going to be hot. The air temperature doesn't look like anything atrocious, but you're out there for long periods of time, you're going to notice it. Plus, the UV rays are in full force. A 10 on the scale today. Anything double digits is very noteworthy. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. is the peak UV rays, but still plenty of them into the evening. Sunscreen multiple times. And if you're heading to the pool, today's probably a cooler pool day. Tomorrow heats up a little bit more in that regard. So there's your forecast. If you've already or know anybody that's already set their spot up and they head back later this afternoon, right around 4 o'clock, 4 to 5, the 90-degree afternoon high cools off to near 80 by 10 with the fireworks. So 80s for the majority of the concert hours. And you can see a spotty storm very late. Still can't rule that out entirely. That would probably be after the fireworks. As you can see there towards 11, 12 o'clock, there's maybe a couple of storms that try to drop in from the northwest. It would essentially be the leftovers off of anything that can build up here in parts of South Dakota. Otherwise, satellite and radar are pretty quiet right now. And that's good news. We're going to keep it quiet over a good chunk of the day today. Now, over the last few days, there's been a lot of rain. This is radar estimated rainfall over the last 72 hours. Doesn't encompass all of it, but it gives you a good idea. Look at the yellows, the oranges, the purples back here are some places approaching 10 inches of rain north of the Platte. All this is running into the Platte, and that will run downstream over the course of the weekend. So Platte River, Elkhorn River, popular spots to beat the heat over the summer. The Elkhorn River has some access sites closed off, and there's a flood warning along the Platte from Fremont down towards Ashland, where the river levels are going to go up this weekend because all that water is running downstream from further to the west. So keep that in mind if you're heading that direction. Here's how it looks for today. By noon, we're up near 80. Pretty quiet day, just hot and a little humid, right up near 90 by 5 o'clock. And the concert getting going 6 to 7 o'clock, and then into the evening gradually cooling down. And that's that little threat of a storm. It's what we call an outflow boundary. Could kick off a couple showers of its own as it drops southeast. Still to the northwest by 10 o'clock, so it'd probably be an 11 or 12 o'clock thing if it's going to be there. Then overnight hours pretty quiet heading into tomorrow and Sunday, which heat up a little bit, 94 and 93 respectively, Saturday and Sunday. So not quite as bad as last weekend, but still noteworthy nonetheless.
Okay. As we get into the weekend, what should people know about the heat this weekend?
Well, along with those higher temperatures, the dew point's going to go up too. So it's going to be more humid, and I think that's going to push the heat index values back up into the triple-digit range for several hours each afternoon, Saturday and Sunday. So be mindful of that. And then early in the week, next week, those drop back a little bit. So good news there. So we were up here last weekend in this danger range, so not quite to that, but you'll notice it when you're outside for sure Saturday and Sunday afternoon. There could be some more overnight storms Saturday night, and then Sunday brings the potential for a few more as well, afternoon and evening. We'll talk more about that here coming up in just a little bit. You can see where temperatures are. You can get the 10-day forecast there very much, but we'll show you that again here coming up in just a little bit. Hang tight for that one. We'll show you what it looks like for the 4th of July coming up shortly.
We can't give the people all of it at once.
That's a tease in the business.
They're tease. There we go. All right. Let's get back to the Memorial Day concert. Of course, it's going to be happening. I mean, already people setting up this morning. People driving down Dodge should be aware there's some flashing lights to be aware of.
Yeah, it's unfortunately right near Memorial Park
Yeah.
where people are going to be driving. So it's already causing delays. Let me show you where we stand with things right on Dodge around Happy Hollow. And it is that intersection where we have the traffic lights flashing red in all directions. So as we've been talking about, we've had a fair amount of this as we've gone through the course of the week. You want to treat any of those intersections as all-way stops and be ready for delays, because you could see it's already pretty backed up. With normal traffic, this would be a problem. And then you've also got people who are trying to get their spot at Memorial Park too. So this is going to be a busy area. You could, if you want to try to avoid this area, you could go maybe up to Underwood Avenue and try to use that. There's not great options for alternate routes in this area, but just know that Dodge is likely going to be pretty slow. Another thing I've been watching this morning, some areas of fog, and you're noticing as you make your way maybe into the Ponca Hills and a little further to the north, Fort Calhoun, you're likely seeing the visibility drop a fair bit in this area. A lot of the metro holding up in pretty good shape, but once you get further to the north is where you start to see that reduction take place. Harlan, Minden, you're going to be looking at the visibility suffering a little bit. Tacoma also, as you make your way west from there and over toward Norfolk, is where you've got more of that fog. So this will be a problem for the next hour or so. You want to turn the headlights on, be ready for some slower travel in some of those areas. Otherwise, that's an old familiar friend, isn't that? The construction zone there westbound right near Giles, really flaring up with the delays at this point, so don't be surprised by that as you're heading into that direction. Eastbound will likely join it as we go through the next 45 minutes or so. And then as you're going on westbound 370, right around 180th or so, a little slow in that area too. But most roads are moving along pretty well. You're not looking at too big of problems that have come up just yet as we're starting off our Friday morning commute. And of course, we will keep you posted if anything unexpected arises.
Okay, Jared, thank you. Meantime, back to news. A judge has dismissed a lawsuit challenging Nebraska's new medical marijuana laws. The lawsuit filed by former state senator John Keene argues the measures are unconstitutional under both state and federal law. The judge in Lincoln found that Keene did not have the standing to sue, leading her to throw out the case. Now, the ruling comes as the Nebraska Medical Cannabis Commission adopted emergency regulations. They give the commission time to allow the public to comment on a set of official regulations. Those rules would become valid as soon as Governor Jim Pillen gives approval. The rules must be published on the commission's website.
This is what had to be done, and since this is the attorney's recommendation that we at least provide this for you, that's where we are at the moment.
Until the website is up, you can write a comment to the State Liquor Commission. We have their email in this story on our website, firstalert6.com. New this morning, the Fremont County Fair Board president is facing several charges relating to the fraud. 42-year-old Troy Atkinson is charged with providing false documentation of purchases to the board. He's also accused of fraudulently using a debit card issued to him by the board and giving a false report to authorities to hide the alleged theft. Still ahead, the latest on the City View apartments in Omaha, the new deadlines for current residents to move out. That's after this. All right, welcome back. The time now is 7:13. Now officially on this Friday morning, we're taking a live look outside, overlooking Midtown and the downtown areas. What I like about today and tomorrow, it's going to be a great pool forecast for us. After a couple days of some spotty showers and storms, we deserve this, I think.
I think it's going to work out really well. I mean, you can go late morning if you want it a little cooler. If you want a little more heat, wait till the afternoon. Just remember, UV index is going to be up there probably both days. It is today, most likely tomorrow too, with sunshine around. Today we climbed to near 90. Tomorrow we go 94. So obviously, pick your day here if you got an opportunity to go today. A little bit cooler. Small chance of a storm overnight tonight. That's what I'm showing you here after about 11, 12 o'clock tonight, heading into the early morning hours tomorrow. And you can see what that looks like on the first alert forecast here. There's 3 o'clock up near 90, right around 90 for the high today. Obviously feels a few degrees warmer when you factor in the dew points. Up here to the northwest, a little complex of storms. Doesn't do much on this model, but I think this little thing right here is what we call an outflow boundary. And that could be kicking some cooler air off the storms to the north. And oftentimes that can produce a few storms of its own that don't really show up well on computer models. So we're going to start off in the 70s tomorrow morning. Muggy meter for the next few days shows that's an uptick Saturday and Sunday. So today's humidity levels are a little bit lower than tomorrow too when you're factoring in your pool day. You get Saturday and Sunday where they're up there. Those drop off some on Monday. Pretty quiet satellite and radar right now. That really won't change much today. Severe threat at its greatest up to the northwest today. Same story Saturday. Saturday night, a couple of storms could drift south into our area. So if you're watching in our northern counties, be mindful of that overnight Saturday night. Best chance of storms for most of our area this weekend would be Sunday. And that's what I'm showing you here. With this, anytime in the afternoon into the evening, possibility of some scattered thunderstorms bubbling up, maybe kind of like we had yesterday. Maybe not the same areas, but kind of the same layout. You get some that develop as we warm up to near 93. There's 6 o'clock with some scattered storms, and then overall, some of those try to continue into the evening. There may be some fireworks displays this weekend. It's something to watch for on Sunday night with any storms that try to move on through. Then Monday and Tuesday warm up a little bit more. Upper 80s Monday and Tuesday with the possibility of some storms lingering into early Monday morning. But keep in mind, the heat up there for Saturday and Sunday. Not as bad as last weekend when we were near 100, but noteworthy for sure.
All right, already in that 10-day forecast. We got a glimpse of it in the last block, but we can see it a little bit more. 4th of July forecast now showing up.
Yeah, still a little unsettled next this upcoming 4th of July weekend that, again, falls on a Friday, so there you go. You get your 3-day weekend lining up perfectly. 92 right now, and that could be the precursor to some storms in the evening on Friday. That sticks out a little bit this far out, so that is something to watch heading into this upcoming 4th of July weekend. Not this weekend, obviously, next weekend. But a shortened work week likely for many folks, and keep an eye on that Friday forecast itself. Again, temperatures don't stick out all too much, but we did uptick things a little bit for that Friday and bump the storm chances up a little bit too. So keep an eye on that with fireworks plans, but most of the time, even if there are thunderstorms, people are still firing off fireworks anyway.
I hope that forecast holds up. That looks pretty promising at this point.
Yeah, right now not too bad.
Okay. All right.
Should I say the cliche?
Say it.
Nature's fireworks.
There you go. All right.
All right.
Should we let him go?
No, I don't think he's done.
Okay.
All right. Let's get an update on traffic. How things moving across the metro?
Yeah, we talked about some of the slow areas before. I'll give you an area of or a view of what we're seeing around the metro here with 4 different cameras. And on the bottom left is one of the big ones. It's as you're making your way on I-80 right around the construction near Giles. So be ready for that as you're heading into that area. It's going to be kind of slow, as you would probably expect early in the morning. So a little bit of some delays right around there. If you're heading to Epley, looks pretty good right on Abbott at this point. Looks pretty smooth on that part anyway. But if you're coming in on John J. Pershing, I want to first alert you to some flagger operations happening here. This could slow you in getting to the airports between Florence and 16th. And this is going to be in place through Monday. So you might want to build in a little extra time if you're using John J. Pershing to get to the airport. You don't end up in perilous territory with trying to catch your flight. I'm keeping an eye on this, and it kind of sounds like this has a crash associated with it right around the, just off to the west of 120th and Fort. And you can see how things are very slow in this area of Fort. I've been kind of getting more information as we've been giving the forecast and such, but it looks like this is an area you may want to try to avoid with this crash that has come in right around 120th and Fort. And as I continue to get updates, I'll keep you posted with that on air. Here's what we've got for the full picture of how the commute's going. You can see the eastbound also slow there on I-80. And don't forget, we have the traffic lights flashing. Dodge, Happy Hollow. You want to treat that as an all-way stop as you're making your way through that stretch. That construction zone 275 right near Waterloo, also eastbound, showing some delays. Many of our roads are moving along pretty well. We just have some isolated spots where we definitely are looking at some issues here in the early going. But you want to keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, looking pretty smooth.
All right, good to hear. Jared, thank you.
Happened so fast, I'm like, where is everybody going? I wasn't only thinking about myself, I was thinking about everybody in the building. I'm like, where's everybody going to go?
Well, people still living inside a troubled apartment complex in Omaha are getting some extra time to move out. Residents at City View were told they had to find a new place to live by the end of June. That's now been moved to the end of July. City officials put the owners of the apartments on notice for code violations. They were then put into receivership back in April. Fewer than 100 residents still need to move out. There are resources available to help out those who might be struggling to find a new place. We have all those up on our website under this story, firstalert6.com. Happening tonight, the annual Memorial Park concert and the fireworks show is in Omaha, as we've been talking about. The show starts with the national anthem at 6:30. The headliner, Ringo Starr, takes the stage about 2 hours later. Many do know him as the drummer for the Beatles. Well, Starr and his all-star band take the stage around 8:30 with fireworks to follow. As always, this concert is free. Well, First Alert, if you're planning to go to the concert, Metro says they plan to provide extra orbit buses waiting to take people home after the show and the fireworks. You can get on at 62nd and Dodge, and then they will head out after the show. Parking is available for free at West Roads. You can then take Orbit to the park. It is $1.25 to ride. Metro says the coolers and blankets can be brought on board. Happening today, it is National HIV Testing Day. The Douglas County Health Department will provide free same-day HIV and syphilis testing. This is at the Benson Walgreens on 60th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. You don't need any insurance or an appointment before you go. Well, coming up, the director of Dune is on to his next big thing when it comes with a challenge. Find out what when we come back. Well, the director of the hit 2021 movie Dune will direct the next movie in the James Bond franchise. Denis Villeneuve, I think I got that right, says he is a diehard fan of 007 and grew up watching the films with his father. The next installment of the franchise follows the 2021 No Time to Die starring Daniel Craig. The first task will be finding a new Bond. Craig hung up the hat on his Bond franchise after wrapping up that film. So we'll have to see.
Franchise lives on.
I know. One of the top comedians around is coming back to Omaha this fall. Adam Sandler is making a stop on his You're My Best Friend tour at the CHI Health Center downtown. It's in late October. Sandler last came to Nebraska back in 2023. Tickets go on sale today at noon. Those are going to go fast. I'm going to have to jump on that.
Hot ticket.
No kidding. Watching some of the old SNL clips with him, like, there's Happy Gilmore. Him and Chris Farley, the things they would do, and they crack each other up during SNL.
Yeah.
Lunch Lady Land, that song. So good.
So many good ones,
Billy
right?
Madison.
I was watching Grown Ups over the weekend.
Yeah.
That's always a hoot.
Click is another one.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Too many.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it for our First Alert 6 streaming. Time now to get ready for our update within the Today Show. You can watch that right now. Back here shortly. Have a great start to your Friday and to your weekend.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
All right, good Friday morning. Time now 7:26. I'm Erin Hartley. Let's get an update on traffic this morning. A new crash to talk about, Jarrett.
Yeah, and it's really impacting traffic on Fort Street. This is just west of 120th, and look at how it's lit up in the orange. So this is an area you're probably going to want to avoid here for the time being while this scene continues to get worked. You could go to Military, you could make your way on to Maple and try to make your way west and east and avoid that area on Fort there near 120th. Elsewhere, some good news on Dodge. Looks like the traffic lights are working again. We had big delays that were in place right near Memorial Park with those malfunctioning, but looks like they're back up and running. Many other roads moving along pretty smoothly. Rusty.
Thanks, Jared. Temperatures the coolest they've been in about a week out there this morning, down in the lower 60s in many spots. So that's where we're starting off. There's been a little bit of valley fog showing up in some spots too, but overall not a huge problem the way things are looking right now. If there is any fog, it'll burn off quickly today. Quiet satellite and radar right now. Haven't had that in a while. Now, dew points will hang out in the muggy range today. Tomorrow, they're going to jump up here for a little bit, and that'll coincide with some of the hotter temperatures. So for today, it's muggy and a little cooler than the weekend, up near 90. If you're heading to Memorial Park, you're looking at a lot of 80s, a high near 90, and then it'll cool off during the evening. But in the direct sunlight, it'll feel hotter, and the heat index could get up near 95 at times into the late afternoon and evening. Plus, the UV index is up there too at 10, so you can easily get sunburned today when you're out there at Memorial Park. Aaron?
Well, it's National HIV Testing Day. The Douglas County Health Department is providing free walk-in testing for HIV and syphilis with same-day results. It's at the Benson Walgreens on 60th from 10 to 6. All right, the time now is 7:28. Back here in about 30 minutes on TV. Have a good one.